2 weeks ago, a GameJam was launched in Smarty Dev's Discord server. The theme was Infinity. I was currently working on another game, but I decided to participate in the GameJam anyway. It was such a great opportunity for me as a solo dev, so I temporarily stopped the dev of the other game to fully work on the GameJam. I now somehow had 2 weeks to make a full game about Infinity. First, I had to find an idea. A good idea, rather quickly, and I did. Let me run you through it. Basically, you're a space traveler, and your spaceship crashes on a rather unknown planet. On that planet, you have to gather resources and materials to repair your ship and leave the planet. That's it. You might be wondering where Infinity comes in, but don't worry, I'm not that dumb. The environment is procedurally generated. Basically, the player can infinitely roam the game's environment. Genius, right? Great. Now that we have our idea, we actually need to make the game. And that's the little bit less fun part of the process. I started with the procedural terrain generation, since it's the key aspect of the game. I found an amazing plugin, credits to Sufi Kaner, with which I could code my generation without having to worry about all the annoying generating part, so that I could only focus on the procedural aspect. I learned to use it, and immediately got to work. My first attempts were questionable, but then I quickly got results that looked a lot more like what I wanted to achieve. I wanted to have 2 main biomes, an open plain and a more rocky area. The math is a little bit complicated, but basically I used a lot of Perlin noise for those who know. Now that I had my terrain, it was time to make it feel more alive by adding props. But in order to add props to the terrain, I need to actually make the props. So I modeled a few stuff, which took me a whole night and a few more hours to have this once again questionable result. Then I textured them, rigged them so that they could be procedurally cloned, and now I just had to code it. So I added a little bit more math on the math I already had, struggled a little bit, and it got it mathing. There, I had my environment. Alright, so now that we have the major piece, we need the mechanics, and one of the big mechanic I wanted was actually a buggy. So, you know the thing, to make a buggy, you need a model. So I did this magnificent buggy. And now I just had to make it a car. However, I had never scripted a car before, and so I had to learn once again. Long things short, it ended up working. We can roam our environment infinitely. The only thing left to do is actually have a spaceship and materials to repair it, and having materials means harvesting those materials. So I had to make harvesting mechanics. Good thing is that I know how to do that thanks to the other game I'm working on. So it didn't take me much time. I even reused some of my ideas and made 3 different materials to gather. Crystals to mine, flowers to pick, meteorites that drop from the sky and that have to be mined as well. I added them to the procedural generation, and now I only had to make the spaceship. Now once again, to have a spaceship, I need to model it first. I just made it so you have to reach a quota for each material in order to be able to repair the spaceship, and it was done. I added cutscenes, music, sound effects, lighting, UI, and there I had my game. So my game was done, almost ready. I made a quick thumbnail, found a name, and I was ready to submit my game one day before the deadline. It was canceled because there wasn't enough participants.